last night. Hey!
Jessica.
Some familiar faces. I didn't know you were at home. Were you here the whole time?
No, just
No?
yesterday.
Just yesterday and today? I'm not
That's
going
good,
to
right?
see you yet.
No, I didn't see them.
Okay, Dad's here today.
Good.
That's so fun. Yay. Glad you're here. Highlights from anybody last night? Pastor Robert was really awesome. Somebody mentioned yesterday's worship panel was great. Didn't you don't have to use the mic? Can I stop?
Actually, they do.
So they want it on.
Okay.
They do edit. Okay. So any other highlights?
I think I came last year with one member of our team, and I came this year with a different member of our team, and seeing it click for him, what I've been talking about all year,
That's cool.
just the experience. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, I get it now.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes coming out of your environment and somebody else experiencing it and being in a different context.
We're from kind of a small church and having 5,000 people facing and worshiping the Lord was awesome. Just really drags you up with it. It's like
It's overwhelming.
tremendous.
You've been before, right?
I have been. We were here last year.
Okay. Glad to have you.
And we bought the keyboard. We never learned it.
Oh, good.
And
Kevin
we're
makes
still
purchases.
learning to play it.
Oh, that's great.
But it's very cool. It's got so much capability.
That's great. Well, you can answer more of your questions today. Yay. Okay, let's pray before we get started, and then am I good to go on this? Check. So awkward using a mic when it's just like a few ago, but okay. Let's pray, and then we'll get started. Lord, thank you so much for this extra day of conference that we have together, Lord. I know that you're not done with what all you want to do in the lives of these awesome people that have joined us, and so I pray that today would be just a cap off to what you're doing. Lord, I pray that they would feel equipped and encouraged to take back whatever they've learned, Lord. Pray that you would just inspire us today, Lord. We need you in everything that we do, and so we ask for your presence even in our conversation. In
Amen.
Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, you guys good? This is so fun. I'm so glad that you're here. There's some familiar, you've been here before too, right? Yeah. There's some familiar faces, so I'm really glad that you guys are all here. And I asked Kevin to be in with us today too. He's like our techie, I called him King Kevin of technology earlier, which is a little bit elaborate maybe, but he's kind of our tech guy as far as all the main stage and like all of our software, keyboard software stuff goes. So be thinking about any questions you may have, and I want it to be super conversational, so like you talking back to me is great. And the whole way through this is super casual, so just like call her out if you feel like saying anything at any point. And we'll keep it moving and just have a good discussion today, and then save plenty of time for questions or anything, and see if we can, because I want this to be helpful for you guys. If it's not, and it's just sort of us talking, this needs to be really beneficial for you guys. So I want to find out really what you need, what you're curious about, what your struggles have been, something that you want to take out of this. Hopefully we can give you everything you need to take home with you. So it's gonna be really fun. So thanks for coming. Hopefully you've enjoyed conference and it's been an encouragement to you, and you're going home fired up and filled up and ready to bring some extra people back with you next year, like you guys did. That's really good to hear. Really, really fun. So I'm glad you guys came back and you brought some extras with you, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it too. Okay, so I'm Jessica, and I'm an associate worship pastor here at the church, and I'm the South Lake campus music director. So I'm here most weekends of the month, at least 3 out of 4 weekends of the month, some months every weekend, and I love it. This is like so weird to think that it's a job or to call it work or my job or something, because it's just so fun for me. So this is really a blessing, and I've been here a long time. I've grown grown up here. I'm 26 years old, and I've been here since I was 14, and I've been playing pretty much almost from the beginning. It was sort of like, we're having band auditions for the youth band, and so I showed up, and I had never played with a band before, and so I grew up playing classical piano. Does anybody have a similar background? Okay, so quite a few. And so I really didn't know anything about playing in a band, and felt really overwhelmed. And you guys know the redheaded guitar player, Cole? Like, he goes crazy on guitar. He was 12 at the time, so we were kind of in the same group growing up and stuff. So this is like home. I feel like, welcome to my home. This is so fun to have you guys here. You know, when you have friends over and you get to show them around your hometown or something, it feels like that here. So anyway, so that's kind of a little bit of background. So I did 10 years of classical piano growing up, and then kind of tried to make a really awkward, clunky transition with like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to try to figure out how to improvise and how to, like, what I was supposed to be playing. And so we can talk through anything you guys want to talk through in terms of that, because I don't know if anybody is still kind of in that place, but it's really can be challenging. But you'll have a light bulb moment if you haven't already, and it's really, really cool. So be encouraged because it'll click. So yeah, and my family, my dad is the white-headed worship guy. Like, have you seen the guy with the white hair? That's my dad from Shepard. He's so awesome. And so grown up in an awesome family. Went to Christ of the Nations out of high school, and went on to Dallas Baptist University, majored in art. I have an art degree, and then I do photography on the side outside of church and work stuff. So anyway, anything creative, I love it, and so this is just fun to hang out with friends that came for conference. So anyway, so Kevin is our king of technology and keys player here. He's here like how much? Just so much.
We're up together a lot.
We're together a lot, and Kevin gets to experience some of the other campuses as well. On different weekends, he'll rotate in and out of some other campuses when they need help. He flies in to save the day, and is involved in a lot of our production stuff at the church and pastor on staff. So he's awesome. So if you have a chance to connect with him as well, I would highly encourage it. So I want to find out kind of what your background is. I kind of like gave a really, really quick thing about me. So we have some that came from classical. Have you made your transition? No? Okay, yes. Mixed bag. In progress. In progress.
I actually can't play classical music anymore.
Okay. So you're
I get to switch to
okay,
the stage.
great. Okay, good. Anybody else? Who plays by ear? Anybody just learn by ear? Okay. Anybody only sight read? Any only like reading music? Nope, nobody.
Yeah,
Combo.
I'm still trying to hold on to that music.
Okay, good. That's
That's
fun.
what I need to get past.
Yeah, okay. So we have a mixed room. Anybody just really elementary, you just, no, everybody feels really great.
I'm quite elementary. I do the coolest.
I really like your accent though. Where are you from?
I'm from London, in the
Oh,
UK.
Welcome. You wish you had as cool of accents as you do. That's awesome. So glad you're here. Okay, great. So just on a spiritual level, I'm sure you guys have heard so much about kind of our values in worship, but that's really what it comes back to for us. More important than the craft side of things would be the character, and we call it the 5 C's: core, character, craft, chemistry, and culture. I don't know if you guys have heard much about that this week, but core would just be our foundational biblical, what we believe about Jesus and about the Lord and about our place in worship. Actually, if we could mirror my screen, I wrote down the little things. Okay, so that's my email if you need me. There I am if you need me. If you end up having any questions after today. I didn't do like a PowerPoint or handouts or anything. I just figured if you have questions, you can ask me. And we have some resources that we can send you to if you end up needing some help. So our main vision in worship, which Pastor Thomas mentioned this week, I don't know which session it was, I don't remember, but our vision from Pastor Robert in worship is to experience God in the greatest way possible in all of our services. So any way we can facilitate that on a musical level, on a practical level, we want to do that. And our 5 C's: core, character, crafting, chemistry, and culture. Character, you know what that means. That's how we live our life outside. Not on the platform, when nobody's around, when we're doing the grunt work of being in the ministry, the hard days, the long days, that kind of stuff. Craft is just what we're in here doing today, the app sessions, the working on our skill and our ability and our gifts that the Lord's given us. Chemistry is how we connect with the people when we're on platform, how we lead them in worship and we connect with them. Which we talked about how 1 Samuel 16:7 says how the Lord looks on the heart, but man does look on the outside. So we tend to focus on how the Lord looks at our heart, and so it doesn't matter what we look like on the outside, but man does look on the outside. So that's what we're presenting and offering. And then culture, our team culture is one of kindness, trust, honor, and loyalty, and those are our main values among our team and our family. Is to have a culture where we honor each other and believe the best in each other, and so that's our main stuff there. But today we're going to focus mainly on craft and developing in our skill and our ability. So in the short time we have together, be thinking about kind of the questions you may have. The main questions I get asked when we start talking about piano and how it fits in worship and stuff like that is, what do I play? Like if you come from a classical background, what do I play? If there's no notes written in front of me and it's just one letter or something, it's really different for us to see on a piece of sheet music than it all written out for us. So what do I play? How do I improvise? What rhythm do I play? Is that a good question to start with? Mm-hmm. Okay, for everybody, hopefully. So piano, I think it's great to think about a CD. Like you don't play the whole song. A piano doesn't just play the whole way through a song, just like any other instrument may not. So I think it's good to take that to worship. I don't think you need to play the whole way through. So we talk about does anybody play just piano and keys? You cover both, you cover all the sounds by yourself in worship. Okay, a few people. And then does anybody have an additional person with you that you team up with and somebody plays like maybe synth or keys and you play piano? A few people have that. And then does anybody play with just an acoustic guitar or percussionist, like a smaller setup? Okay. And then everybody else plays with a band, like a full band?
If they all show up.
If they all show up.
Wednesday can contribute.
Okay. So most people play with a full band, then that's great. So I would kind of adjust what I play based on how many other people we have in the band. If it is just a smaller setup like you have, then I would play a lot busier and a lot more rhythmic and stuff than I would play if we were playing in a band. But with what I do, I music direct as well, and so sometimes if we have a full band and stuff, I'm not needed on a lot of stuff, and I may default to music directing being a priority, like to make sure we're going on the right track, especially if it's something stressful or something crazy or changes or something like that. So I would play a lot busier if it were just me by myself, but if Kevin's with me, I can kind of chill and we can split our responsibilities. And so if you do play with somebody else, it's really good to team up and say, okay, what are we doing? What do you want to take? Like we normally go to each other and say, hey, or if he has a certain sound he's thinking on something, then he'll say to me, hey, what are you going to play on this? I kind of have this. And so it's great to split those responsibilities. And a lot of stuff isn't piano based anymore. Like it's kind of moving to where there's a lot of synth and a lot of keys stuff going on. And so before, I feel like it used to be more like you're a keys player or you're a pianist, and now you kind of have to do it all. So it's kind of hard for those of us who, because I'm kind of like, just give me the piano sound and let me play piano. Like, I just love playing piano. To where I have to really work on, okay, I need to learn how all this tech stuff works so that I can use it. And I think it's really important for us as the church to be pushing really be pushing the envelope and not taking our cues from everywhere else in the world creatively, because we're created in the image of God and He's the ultimate creator. So I think church people ought to be the most creative people in the world. So I'm so all about that, but I really do in my flesh have to push myself to really be outside of my comfort zone in that area with the sounds. Does anybody else relate to that, or like you, and then some of you guys just rule the world with your sounds? No?
Well, and a good example today when we did Emmanuel, because there's no piano, I said to her, I said, what do you want to play? And she said, I don't know, what do you want to play? So I said, well, I have a bunch of arps. Why don't you play the lead line on the turnaround? Because there's that keys lead line. So that way she can still undeep, but then she's contributing in there, I'm not sucking up all the real estate, and she's kind of going, thanks, there's nothing left to do. So on song ones, a lot of times, there's no piano, so we will share synth responsibilities because she needs to do something. I don't want her up there just doing nothing. So
However, I do like jumping around.
yeah, she does. Sometimes she'll just say, I don't want to play, go ahead. But I'll scale back what I'm doing to make room for her, so she's got stuff she can do as well. And so when it is a double synth song, I like to split the responsibilities up just because it's fun that we're both contributing to how the song sounds. It's not just me, you know what I mean? And if there's tracks, a lot of times I'll tell the sound guys, hey, pull these tracks back, and then we can add more textures. If it's all tracks, then there's really nothing for either one of us to do. So we really do just try to say what makes sense to the song and contribute. And then the rest of the set, you're pretty much piano after that. Mm-hmm. After song one, you're pretty much piano the rest of the time.
And your culture is going to be different. Like we have our own kind of church worship expression, whereas your church has its own worship expression. So for us here, we're kind of in between. Like, we're not super young and free in terms of like our sound and our style and our keys-based sounds. We do still have a piano influence, but your church may be different, so everybody has their own. So yeah, we love splitting responsibilities like that, talking through everything. And then in terms of like how you can, does anybody still not know what they're supposed to be playing? Like, if it's a piano song, does anybody feel really confused on what you're supposed to be playing? Okay, so I'm just gonna talk then. So if it's like a piano song and I don't know what to play, or you just have the letter written out and you're not sure how to handle improvising, I think I'll start with that and talk through that, because I think the best way to practice how to do that is just to practice your inversions, which is like the piano teacher response, which nobody wants to hear. So I mean, when I was 5 years old and having to learn my scales and chords, I can't believe that 26-year-old Jessica is the one saying, yeah, your scales and chords, that's the key to it. But it kind of is. So like, you have to know your inversions. So if you only know a C chord down here, and then you only know a G chord out here, it's not going to sound like fluid at all. So you really need to be able to keep everything right underneath your hands and not move your hands around very much at all. And so for a pianist, if you did have a classical background, it's kind of, it might be difficult for you to really simplify what you're doing, because you can do a lot more than you're probably going to end up doing in worship. So yes, you might be bored. Like, and it's okay to swallow musically. Yeah, you might feel like you're not really doing enough, but if you don't feel like you're doing enough, you might be doing enough. So it's really taste and simplicity is really, really important with this stuff. And yeah, you can really easily overdo it, especially if you do come from a classical background, because you can play really fancy stuff. But it's not about that, and worship isn't about that. And it's such a different style now too, that it's just not even about that classical style anymore. But the foundation of it is really, really helpful, and you'll pull so much from it into what you're doing now. So it's not just, it's a really awesome foundation to have. So if you're not sure about your scales and your chords, I would definitely start there. If you're like really stuck, just moving through like literally up and down the piano of your inversions of every chord and knowing them, I mean, everything to keep it right under your hands. So for instance, if I'm gonna play, does anybody know the Nashville number system? Are you familiar with numbers? Some people are, some people aren't. So numbers are a way of relating to chords where you're relating to numbers instead of the letters. So it's just the numbers that are in the chord. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So all of our charts are written in numbers instead of letters. Have you seen charts written like that?
I'm gonna pull one of ours up and find
Sure, yeah.
Grace will let go or something.
So, and I have all of the things I haven't accepted yet. Hold on. Oh wait. Does that look familiar? Does anybody else use playing like that? So Grace won't let go. Let's find that one. That's a good piano one to go over anyway. How do you find them?
Go to central up top. You'll see it. See central.
Oh yeah. Okay, right here.
Yep. And,
Nearly, come on.
and then scroll down and you'll see right there.
Oh yeah, okay, number. So this is called a Nashville number. Some people just call it numbers, but technically that's where it comes from, is Nashville, and people in Nashville recording in the studio and needing to transpose a song for a singer or something, and then instead of crossing everything out and recharting it and transposing and counting half steps like I used to do and bring like four different charts and 4 different keys just in case they change the key. I literally would.
Complicates me. I am so key to the ABCs.
Right. And so, but the truth is that it's the same in every key. So in terms of how it feels under your hand, it's going to feel the same regardless of what key you're in, which is really awesome. And so, I mean, I would show up to rehearsals and have a minimized print of the chart, like I would minimize it in Word or whatever, and bring it out and bring a little copy in probably 3 or 4 different keys, depending on who was supposed to be there and who I thought might end up leading it or something. We don't make as many changes like that on the fly now, I guess, as we did then. But thank the Lord. But I used to cross stuff out and count half steps to transpose stuff, which is just ridiculous. And there's so much room for error in that too, and you're nervous and you're stressed trying to transpose. Anyway, or you're transposing on your keyboard. Anybody do that? No, don't do that. So this is just relating the chords in numbers instead. So if we're in the key of C, Grace that won't let go, we actually play it in C. So a 1 is a C, and then the 4 is an F. And then same with 5. The M represents minor. So you'll see that there. And then we have the map written at the top of the song. So like intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, bridge.
What's the little C?
The little C is a down chorus, a little chorus. And same thing with the little V. Like that's kind of a down verse, and then verse 2 the band is in.
You wouldn't play during down verse or down?
It depends on the song. With Grace That Won't Let Go, it's kind of more of a piano influenced song, so I would stay in on that one. And Pads would be in on that as well.
Maybe light acoustic.
Maybe light acoustic or something. It just depends on the song.
But as a director, you'd be saying, lighten up this.
Right, yeah. And it's probably the case that the band, it knows they're not supposed to play during that verse or whatever, but our band does pretty well with that kind of stuff. But if we make any changes on the fly, I'd be giving direction for that. So that's how numbers work. So whenever I'm referring to, if I'm referring to a number, that's what I'm talking about. It's the Nashville number system. If you're not familiar with the number system, I do have some stuff written out on it, and I would highly encourage learning it. It's not an overwhelming thing to learn if you feel like it's a daunting thing. It's a transitional thing, and you definitely have to educate yourself on it and get familiar with it. But if you don't know anything about it, it's worth looking into. When I first started, what would happen is I would come to rehearsals and Pastor Walker, the guy that was facilitating this morning, he would just be spouting out numbers really fast, and he talks fast anyway, you know, and he's like high energy always, and so he would just be spouting out numbers, and I would not be able to mentally process what he was saying, and so I finally got irritated enough not being able to understand that I figured it out, and I found like a Worship Together, I think it was a Worship Together resource that was a binder of the most popular worship songs at the time, and they had 4 different versions of the chart in that binder to where you could literally set them all out side by side. They had the sheet music of the song, they had a chord chart of the song, they had a number chart of the song, and I could kind of like sit there and compare it and see kind of, it would help me learn. And then it had some curriculum in the back that talked about the number system, and I think I still have that. So if you're interested, then you can just email me about it. But otherwise, I mean, Google knows everything, so you can just ask the internet. So it is super helpful. So what were we talking about before that? Numbers. Does anybody have a quick question about numbers? It's also great if you, does anybody use TalkBack or a music director? Some do. So it's great because in a TalkBack mic, when it's really loud, A, E, D, G, it all kind of sounds the same. So if you're referring to numbers, it's a lot easier to communicate on the fly like that.
A lot of times with Jess too, if the oversight comes up to speak, we might vibe behind the oversight as a band. So then Jessica will then just call numbers, and we know what she wants us to do. So we might hit a 2 and then go to the 4 and then go to the 6 and then go to the 5, and she'll call numbers and we know what she needs us to do. So that way there's no pre-planning. Like we didn't have to run this first because we already know the vibe we're in, we already know the tempo we're in, and she's literally just calling numbers and when she wants us to change, and we're just literally following on the fly, never rehearsed it. So that's another benefit of the numbers is the MD now has permission and has the ability to flow with the band because the band can just go with that. Where it's like, wait, we didn't practice this. Well, you don't have to. We're in this is 68 beats per minute. We're gonna change every bar and just go. And she can call numbers and we just follow. So that's great for her too. So.
That is really great. I do have a quick question. In the numbers, if you were to say 2 or 6 or 3, is it a given that it's a minor?
It's a given that it's minor. Yeah, unless like sometimes there's a weird 3 major or something. But yeah, it would 2s and 6s tend to be minors, and then sometimes you'll have a 1/3. So if you see a number / another number, that just means like if it were in C, then it would be C/E, 1/3, 1/3 or something like that.
I think we default to 1/3 more than 3 minor.
Yes.
Usually.
How do you call that out then if you're calling it as MD?
You'll just say 3.
I'll just say 3, mainly just for the bass player.
Okay.
And just assume that everybody else adapts. Yeah. That's a good question though. Anybody else have number questions while we're on it? Okay. So sometimes you'll also see, we don't have one in this chart, but you'll see a sus. So there might be like a 5 sus or something that's just suspended. Or there might even be a 4/2, like a little 2 beside it, or something like that. They'll add color notes to chords. So if you see, it's the same as an F2, so it just means to add the 2 to the chord. Little things like that to notate. And some people actually notate the minors with like a dash, a minus sign right beside the number. So if you see something written like that, it might be that. Sometimes if ours get 2 beats per measure, like these are 2 beats each instead of 4 beats each, the ones that are in parentheses, and the parentheses notate that. So there's little key, like mapping kind of things like that. I don't know if that's universal or that's just how we do it. I think that's just how we do
I
it.
think it is. And
So you
some
might
people-
develop your own shorthand for it, you know?
Yeah. Some people use a triangle too for a major 7. If they want the major, they'll put a triangle next to the number. That means major instead of minor.
So that's that.
Just a question. What do you do if you're having a measure 3 beats in one and one other?
I don't know that that's normally notated. If there's any kind of weird beats, I just jot it out. Yeah.
In our number charts, we would do slashes.
Slashes. Yeah.
To the quarter notes.
Yep, that's a great way to do it. Just any kind of little shorthand notes, I think, do it. It's just a really quick way of being able to notate what you're doing without needing a full chart of it. Cause you could have a number chart with no words on it for a musician, you know, you could just have the slashes, just like you mentioned, with just the numbers on it. So anyway, that's that. So let's say, I'm gonna play through the verse and just show you how I would play it without moving my hand at all, and then you can kind of get a feel for how much you don't have to be moving your hands to get the job done. So I guess I can do this. So that I'm still following the rules. I'm such a rule follower. Okay. Is anybody else like such a rule follower? You're the A+100 kid in the class. No.
That's what makes you great, though.
It's hard. It's
Why
hard.
is it
It's hard. It's hard. It's tricky. Okay, so I'm playing a C chord, and then now I'm playing an F, and now I'm playing a C. Now I'm playing an A minor, and then I'm gonna play a G6. And I didn't move anything in my right hand, so you don't have to move at all.
Oh, wow.
You know, and so you could do that. So I'm down here doing that, but I could do the same thing, half inversion higher. So, same thing, I could do it just like this. So this is just 5, 1, 5 in my right hand. I'm not moving anything, and then I'm just adding like a bass note to it. So like a lullaby, right? Just really simple. So I play everything like that, and then I just add little color notes to stuff if I want to make it sound a little more interesting. Anything to kind of help follow the melody, like on the chorus. You guys know this song? So you're adding melody with a little bit of rhythm, with just really simple chords, and that's all there is to it. And so then I just think about the whole song, the dynamics of the band, like what they're going to be doing in the song, and then kind of take the song section by section and add it up to where you have different dynamics for each section. So for instance, I might start the song like this song starts full band, so everybody's going to be in. And there's a line at the top of it, which we can totally talk about, hooks and playing lines and different things like that. But so the intro hook is like this with the electric guitar. Does everybody play with a metronome? Oh my gosh, is that like a bad word? Like
No, I love it.
Oh, you like it? Okay.
But nobody else does.
Oh, nobody else does. Okay, so click is really important. Like you need to be playing with a click, and if your band doesn't play with a click, you need to be practicing with one at home. So definitely get familiar with the sound, the annoying sound of it. Have you heard about people falling asleep listening to